All righty, let's go back to the comments. Okay, thank you, Sherry. Welcome in, everybody. I am live, right?
Yes, you are live, sister. Thank you very much.
So, for everybody that was watching that, I had the intro playing and I didn't hit live. And Sherry was like, Sis, you're not live. I didn't hit the live. Hadn't been
Yeah, I
on in
thought
so
that I
long.
did look at it. I was like, she's done it again.
Yeah, it's
She got
been
it just
so
at that last
long.
second.
Let's see who we have in here. So, thank you, Drew, for sharing everything out for us. And we're glad
Welcome
Sherry
in.
has gotten her internet back because that's a global internet issue going on the
Oh yeah.
whole
Yeah.
day. Hello, Stephanie. I think she
Welcome
said
in,
she'd be
everybody.
listening. She's
Right, I'm
cleaning
just
and
going to unlink my
listening.
channel quickly. I just wanted to make sure it did work, so I'm going to remove it now. I just wanted to
Okay.
check it.
Okay.
Right.
And let's see. Welcome, Colleen White Owl. Thank you for coming in. And oh, and Carrie is in also.
Welcome in,
Oh,
everybody.
sick. Colleen.
And
Hello. That's who I was talking to you about behind the scenes suite.
Yeah, Colleen, our sister.
okay, let's
I
see
don't know why my
here.
chat's not connected. Where did I connect my chat? Because it's
So,
this new computer, I think. 2 seconds, guys. I'm just connecting my chat.
honey, I have the headset on. You hollering for me?
Oh, I
Hello, my
apologise.
angels. Hello, Cherry. We got my sister Drew,
We're on. Try it again.
Mystical,
Click on
Colleen,
it again.
Stephanie. Hello.
So Lee's like watching on the TV, and he said it
Hello,
didn't
Mr.
cut
Welcome in,
off.
Lee.
everybody.
No, it's not been removed.
Oh
He
my
said
god.
the video showing that it's been
Oh, I removed
removed.
mine.
Right.
I
Oh, it
removed
was Drew's.
mines
Oh, you
from
were
my
He's
on,
on
channel.
Drew's then.
honey, you were on Drew's. You need to find it on mine. That's the reason it said it
Hey,
was removed.
penises.
He's laughing.
I was just checking that we knew how to do it.
Oh, hi, Phoenix. Welcome in,
And
Phoenix.
I thought that the men are good with the technology.
Oh, no, no, no. He's worse than me. What little I know that Drew's taught me, he knows nothing. He was where I was at before Drew taught me the little bit. He always says, how do you know how to do that? How do you know how to do that? And I smile like I'm smart, and then I go, Drew taught me.
You shouldn't tell. You
Okay.
should just say you figured it out. Welcome on,
So,
everybody.
everybody, I'm glad we are all back.
I
So,
am so glad
for
you're back. I missed your little face.
I know y'all been
I
back.
was singing hip
It's
hip hip.
just
I was
me.
like, "Yay! Woo! Sister's back!"
Yeah,
Where's
finally,
Drew just now?
Hello,
finally.
Drew. How
Drew,
are you,
I was
brother?
just telling the ladies there that
Oh,
we
hey,
managed
Drew.
to connect just at the last minute. So we'll definitely book you in for this time next week if you're around at this time.
It's going to be an awesome show. He's an
Mhm.
interesting guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, before we start talking about what we're doing today, Drew, when the other Drew from Living History Mysteries is on next week, what is the subject going to be about? Have y'all discussed that yet, or that's going to come later?
Well, I was thinking we could do a little bit of a recap with them because Drew's really interesting. He does so much. He does the paranormal like we do, maybe goes out and things, not like we do in a team, but he goes out with other people and he concentrates on the history side of it. And he also puts out little stories and things where he's got a cute little cat, guys. It's a little AI cat and it sits beside him and he tells like fireside stories and things to do with
He does
paranormal.
reenactments. He
If
does
it's
reenactments
Christmas,
as
if
well. He
Christmas.
dresses up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does
Yeah.
and then he also
Yeah.
does reenactments and things. He does so much, and I do believe you've just opened your own pizza shop and things.
Oh
So
wow!
he's an amazing guy, and he's Scottish, and he's
Scottish.
lined. He actually can still link himself to some of his clan in Scotland.
Mhm.
So he's just an all round interesting guy.
So for all
He
of
is.
those just coming in, we have had them on this channel before.
Yeah.
It's been a long time ago, so I'm sure there's a lot that's happened, since then. So I just thought we would touch base on that, so everybody coming in next week
Yeah.
they would know.
Check
So
his channel out, guys. Until then, he's got a really great channel.
so so this week is going to be a little bit different than the strange and magical and unknown and stuff like that. So Drew, would you like to start off kind of like what we're going to be talking about and anything?
Yeah, sure. Welcome in, everybody, just to say that. And I'm being serious when I say I'm glad to see Mystical back because she really wasn't feeling herself there for about a
Whew.
week, guys. So it really is great to see her back. And that's, I mean, for the bottom of my heart. I was missing her little face. Could you squeeze her?
Oh yeah.
Even though she doesn't like hugs. Anyway, right, to just a bit about what we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight, guys, we were going to get Eli up, but unfortunately, he's a bit busy right now. His fiance has just finished work, so he's running around, probably around all the countryside, wherever he stays. So he's going to come up in a couple of weeks' time. And we'll get him back up for a bit of a recap. So tonight, I was actually talking to Mystical about right now is about the time of we're in March. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to think about, right, okay, so when do I need to start the process of starting my plants to grow? I know that with some plants you've got to like crack the seeds open and things, and I do believe it's round about this time of the year you start doing that. Also, I would like to give, if Mystical would give us a little bit of guidance just about what we really should be all doing at this time of year about if we're wanting our magical garden, if we want to kind of have a little space of our own outside, what kind of things, what timeline even are we looking at? Just a bit of guidance, Mystical, if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind at all. Before I start, Sherry, do you have anything that you want to mention before I start blabbing my mouth?
Well, to be quite honest, it's all quite new to me, the whole gardening stuff. But I will say that my witchy godmum has actually got me loads of pots and has been actually planting me some seeds and stuff to like get me
Brilliant.
started because she's a really keen gardener. So I am going to be growing some plants. Touch wood, it's going to go well this year.
It's going to go well.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
If
got
I can do it,
believe it.
anybody can do it because I kill cactus. So if so,
I
you
got
can,
that bonsai tree. I killed a bonsai tree.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Drew, are you sure you want any of us talking about to teach?
Yes,
you?
I do. I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to brush my hair. I was sitting editing videos.
Well,
But yeah, I want to know everything. I want to know a bit, just a bit of guidance, sister, please.
Well, here in this where I am at, the weather is so different. So kind of a guidance like, see, I don't even start planting anything that's going to be above, that's even remotely going to be coming above ground before Mother's Day. So here, Mother's Day is in May.
Okay.
Because we get so many like last minute freezes. They say before the last frost, but at the same time, we get so many freezes still up until then that if anything starts growing before, or even like our trees that are blooming right now, they're blooming, and apples and all of that. Well, in 2 more days or 3 more days from now, our temperatures are going to drop again into freezing. So all of those buds are going to freeze.
Okay.
And then we're
right.
not going to have them. So here, where I am at, that's what I go by. I go by if anything is going to be actually coming out of the ground, I don't have anything to do with it until after, during May, after Mother's Day. Now, there are certain things that, you all, if you are in a warmer climate, and you're not going to have any more frost, then by all means, you can start your herbs, you can start your, flowers, all kinds of things. I had put a little comment in the, like the community post for here, for the town I live in, and saying that in a couple of more months, I would be looking for anybody that had any extra, like herbs or anything like that. Because a lot of people have greenhouses, you know. Just like Phoenix. Phoenix lives in a colder area, but she has a greenhouse. I don't know if she's got it up or not going, but I already had people telling me in this area that they had stuff that they could give me. But I'm like, no, I need to hold off because I don't have anywhere to put them. So
Right.
I have to wait till then. So that's kind of what I
So, a
go
quick
by.
question then. See some of the plants that you can grow outside. Can you also grow them inside, or have they got to be outside?
No, you can grow them inside if you have them, like
Right,
a
okay.
light, if you have a light on them where they have so much light during the day, stuff like that. My
Or
house
at the
is,
window or something. Right.
yeah, yeah. See, and I have no windows that I can put anything in because my house is wall to wall with stuff that I sell on Etsy and Macari and eBay and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
just like this window back here, there's no way there's nothing can
Hmm.
go here in the window. This is the
Because
way
that one
my
there's a sun trap. I could do
yeah.
tomatoes and probably grow some rosemary and things on that window
Yes.
ledge.
Yes,
So
all
is
of
that
that
about
stuff.
now I would start doing that?
Hey Kim. Yeah, all of that.
Right,
If
Kimmy?
you have room inside, by all means start it. And then that way when your temperature is good outside, you can either move the pot outside or you can repot it.
Right.
But if you're gonna do it inside and before you repot it outside, take it outside just for like 30 minutes the first couple days, bring it back in, and then take it out for an hour. It has to acclimate to not
All
only
right.
the weather outside, but the temperature and if the
Right.
wind's blowing and all of that
Good to
kind of
know.
stuff. So you need to acclimate it to that. But
But
yeah,
does Kerry
this
say check your seeds if they need to get cold before they'll grow too? I've had a load in the freezer.
See, that's the type of question I need to get to know then. Can you highlight Kerry's for a quick minute, Mystical, and talk
yes,
about that, please?
yes, I sure can. This one, right?
Yeah. Why do we need
Okay.
to do that? What's that all about?
Check your seeds if you need to get cold before they grow. I've had a load of freeze mugwort, yarrow, etc. won't grow if they don't go through a freeze.
Through a
Some people
freeze.
will do that. Some people will put them in the freezer to get them cold for a certain
Right.
amount of time. Now that's something that I've never done, so I really can't talk about it to where I would know what I was talking about. I've seen
Okay.
YouTube videos where they do that and they put them
Right.
in the freezer. That's something whole totally new to
Kerry,
me
I'll be
I didn't
because
asking you
even know.
questions on that, sis.
Didn't even know.
um,
No, I'll be asking, we'll ask questions on
so
that to Kerry,
yeah.
sis.
Yes.
And then
Thank you, sister.
Phoenix says not yet. I have set it up yet. Oh, she's talking about her greenhouse. I think when I do,
Right.
we'll be indoors for now until the weather warms up and no chance of freezing temperatures. Then the greenhouse will go outside until it's time to plant. Yeah, cause see, like right
Right.
now we're still getting really. Now today was nice. We started out like when we went outside to work on the dog shelter. We were in our
Mhm.
jackets with a hoodie. We had our toboggans on, but then as it started warming up, we started coming out of it. But
Right.
and you think, well, it's so pretty and things are blooming, but that's where a lot of people will start
Go wrong.
planting, and then the freeze
Yes.
hits and everything dies. So
See,
I just
Shell,
I
there's no
just wait.
Shell. Well, Shell's got a cherry blossom tree. So usually I can judge, but when her cherry blossom tree blossoms, and it only blossoms for 2 weeks, guys, for the people that don't know that, and then it'll not blossom
Mhm.
all year again. Usually, when that blossoms, I can usually tell that that is us past we're really bad weather, if you like. But that tree has not even got buds on it yet here. So that makes me think that we're still in for some snow or something, because usually by the beginning of March, you've started to see the little buds grow on it, you know?
I have peach trees, all kinds of trees, and I very seldom get anything
Right.
because of the weather like it is today. It starts blooming and then it freezes and everything dies, and then
Yeah.
you have to wait another whole year. Now, um, she says all mine are late this year. So yeah, see, I won't even be planning for a while. But this is what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. Okay, if everybody watch my videos from last year and where I put the magical garden. And the reason I call it my magical garden is because I use a lot of it, not only for feeding us, but also too for medicinal purposes. That's magical in itself, you know, for saving some of it for, you know, for later on hard times, you know, we lose a job or get sick or whatever, we have stuff to fall on. That's magical in itself. Anytime you can take care, you know, of
It's
yourself
definitely
or what
magical.
you're growing, that's right. That is something very,
Yes,
very special. Well, what I'm
definitely.
going to do this year, if y'all don't mind me mentioning, okay, so if you watch my videos where we're going to move the dogs to, and you know, we're putting the electric fence around it. Okay,
Mhm.
so since they have such a huge area, we are building, which we finished it today, the dog shed. It's just nothing fancy. Put
It
in
doesn't need to be
pieces
fancy.
of scrap wood together that we got for
Yeah,
free or for
that's
almost
what,
free,
guys.
and got it put together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move like all of my tables and stuff that Lee made me last year. All of that is going to go out into that dog pen. But what I'm going to do is, because the dogs are destroying everything here, so I am going to have Lee fence in an area with, okay, the dog pen. Within that dog pen, I want him to put another um, fence in it for chickens. I want him to build me a chicken coop, and that
Mm.
way I can have fresh eggs and stuff like that. Okay, so within that area, I'm going to move all of my tables that I had in my magical garden. I'm moving it inside the chicken coop, and that's going to be my magical garden. And what I'm going to do is this year, I'm only going to grow uh, perennials, stuff that grows back every year. That way I don't have to keep replanting. So what I'm going to do is move the tables in there. The stuff that I am going to be planting in the ground, because if y'all remember, if you watch my videos last year, I had a hellacious time with weeds. Weeds
Yeah.
were like, you know,
Yeah.
it was just horrible. Okay, so the chickens are gonna be my weed eater, okay?
All right. Good.
So,
Good.
yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So anything that I'm going to plant in the ground, I'm going to plant them in a wire cage in the ground. I'm going to have a wire cage around the top of it, okay? So the chickens can scratch all around it and they're not going to tear it up, but I don't have to worry about all of the weeds. Plus the
Right.
the homemade fertilizer that they're going to be giving me. And like out of the chicken coop, I'm going to be moving all of that, all their poop, which is fertilizer, out into one area, because this year I've already got fertilizer for all those plants. If you remember last year, Lee's friend gave us from the horse manure and the
Oh, that's right. You
rabbit,
did say it would
and
take to the
yeah, so
beretta. That's
yeah, so
right.
all of that that's going into the compost for this year. So what the chickens are going to be giving me will be moved to the side, and that will be for the following year. Okay? So I'm going to have some of the plants up on top of the table, and like I said, they're all going to be perennials. They'll keep growing, you know, they'll keep growing back. Um, so anything that, and I'm going to be making, I don't know if you've heard of like herb boxes. Some people call them like buffets for the chickens. So
Right.
what you do is you make a box with the wood so high up in a square or rectangle, whatever you want. You put screen on top, okay? So you plant some herbs only for the chickens. You plant
Right.
those herbs underneath. Well, they can't scratch and tear it up. Once it starts growing through the wire, they get on the wire and they peck and they eat.
All
which is
right.
good for them because you can, use them for for worming the chickens, for giving them
And that
extra
would make their eggs healthy
vitamins.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that keeps them really healthy. So if they're healthy,
Right.
their eggs are going to be healthy and you get to eat their healthy eggs. So I'm going to make those for them, and the stuff that we're going to use will be, like I say, because we have gophers, we have vogues, we have all kinds of critters that go up
Yeah.
underneath and eat the plants. So that's
Mhm.
why I'm gonna plant them in a wire cage in the ground with the wire around the top of them, so that
Right.
once they grow up so high, now the chickens can peck any leaves and stuff that grows on the edge, which is
Yeah.
okay, because once it starts growing up, then I can take that cage off and let it grow naturally, and I'll be doing that throughout the
Yeah, Karen, I
entire
probably will.
chicken, yeah, the entire chicken area. I can do that. Let me see what she says
So,
here
do you
first.
remember last year when you were trying to troubleshoot about the trying not to let the slugs go up the table? There was two or
Right.
three little things that you done. Did you manage to
Yeah.
to to work all that out? Did everything
Um,
work? Is what I'm asking.
the slugs never got up on the tables because
Brilliant.
I had the wire, like scrubbies that you do
Yeah.
dishes with. Yeah, and then I, pulled them apart and wrapped it around. The duct tape we did
So it
backwards
worked
to keep
then.
the
Brilliant.
ants, yeah, keep ants off of it and stuff like that. All of that worked. Now, when I put it in the chicken coop, I won't be able to use those because I don't want the chickens picking at it. But the chickens
Right.
will already eat the slugs. They will eat all of
True.
those bugs. So I don't have to worry about that. They'll
There
be
you
doing
go.
that for me. Yeah. They'll be
Yeah.
eating all of the weeds it's trying to, grow, around it and stuff. And then what I'll be doing too is like all whole grains. I'll buy. See, I want to do everything. When I used to have my other chickens and ducks and everything in Texas, I'm not lying. I had over 6,000 birds. I had them on 10
Oh,
acres.
I believe you.
We even
You've not got
dug
a lie in you, lady.
yeah. So we even dug a big pond for, the ducks to go into and everything. But I don't have that room here. But I'm going to incorporate a lot of what I did then, do
Yeah,
it
just a
now.
smaller scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't buy like the traditional feed that everybody goes to the store and feed them, because if things break down and the trucks aren't running and you can't go get the feed, everybody's like, "Oh my God, how am I going to feed my chickens?" Well,
Yeah.
I already feed them without doing that. Okay,
Right.
so I already know how to, keep them going and thriving and giving them all the nutritions and, things like that they are,
I bet their eggs are bloody
going.
delicious.
Oh yeah, huge, huge, huge difference. Fresh eggs compared
Yeah.
to store-bought eggs. So they'll
So
not
is the
only keep.
dogs there then to kind of protect the chickens then? Is that
Yes, the
what that'll
yes,
be for?
yes,
Right.
yes. See, the dogs have access to around the entire fenced area that the chickens are going to be in, that the chicken coop is going to be
Right,
in.
okay.
Okay,
Right.
so if any animals or anything tries to get in through the main fence, which is
You
going
took
to
care of
be electrified, then they've got to go through the dogs in order to get to
the
the
chickens.
chickens,
Right.
because they're going to be inside their own fencing area, and the coop is going to be inside
Yeah.
there also, so they have access, to all of
And it
that.
is pretty big, that area. I think the camera probably doesn't even do it justice because I've seen you walk it and you think that looks a lot bigger when you walking
Yeah,
it than it does you just filming it, you know? So it's
yeah,
definitely a big area.
especially if well, it's an acre, pretty close to an acre that the dogs have.
Right.
So the chickens will be in the middle because it's the way the property goes. It's not like a square. It goes long and then it curves and then it comes
Yeah, I've noticed
around and
that.
then it comes back in. So the part that goes way out, that's where Lee put that's where he built the dog shelter. So it's
Yeah.
on that side, and then so I'll be feeding the dogs in the front, and then that way they get used to just being around that whole
Right, I know
area.
that
They still have
open
a
area.
whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never did read this. It says, I had no plans with my dogs right up until 4 years ago when I fenced off my teeny tiny wolf-proof garden. Yeah, that's just it. Where I had it at, she goes, it ate my carrots. I cried. I know, it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
I had all my other baskets that I still had the perennials in for this year, and the
Right.
dogs got so big so fast. They just climb up on top and they just grab the whole bag and shake it, and everything just goes everywhere.
They're huge now. They probably eat
Yeah.
it.
So I was
It's
like,
going to be a
okay,
good homestead, isn't it,
yeah,
Karen?
that is not going to work. So
So
what are
what
you saying? I'll
about
probably do
the
mine in
planting then?
tubs.
So you'll
Yeah.
not be able to plant in there this year then, such as your pumpkins and things like you did last
We're
year.
we're not gonna do pumpkins. Um,
Right.
Now the sweet potatoes and the zucchini stuff like that I might do, but if I do, I'm gonna do them on tubs, several tubs on top of the table, where the vines can grow all out. And see, the
All
chickens
right,
can eat
yeah.
those. The chickens can eat some of the leaves, and it's actually good for them. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people don't realize that, like the real fresh on the pumpkin leaves, the fresh young ones, and the zucchini, people can eat those too. But most people
Right.
don't because they don't even know about them. The chickens can eat those, so they'll spread out, and the chickens, can eat those.
I was
But
actually, when I was researching some of the herbs, well, it's not really herbs, some of the plants that grow around here, I was actually quite surprised at how many roots you can eat out
mhm.
a plant as well. Like a lot of people forget that the root and things, well, maybe not so much eat it. Ginger's about the only one that you kind of eat. But there's a lot of roots that are like in your weeds or your plants that grow around that is really good medicinal
Right,
things in them,
yeah.
and I think a lot of people forget about the roots of plants and, as you say, the leaves. People forget
Mhm.
that that actually is healthy for you.
Yeah. She says she'd love to have chickens. It's huge. Looks amazing homestead. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
they're
we're
good.
getting we're getting it there. And so today, when he finished the dog shelter, he was so exhausted. Bless his heart. He
Oh,
said,
it is so
"I'm
good.
not gonna build nothing else. I'm done with building." I said, "No, honey, you still gotta build my chicken coop." He was like, "Oh, I forgot."
Oh, he's got a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
He's
but see,
just
I
so
mean,
good,
he
though,
can.
doesn't he? He
Yeah,
just soldiers on and gets it done,
I
doesn't he?
know it. I know it. But and even though he does it, and we we don't like measure and have everything exactly. I mean, who cares? The dog tore up everything in my magical garden. Who cares if their shelter is not to
Exactly.
specs?
I'm quite sure it can be an inch out at one side.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll be
I've got to
uploading
laugh,
that
guys. This is
video.
quite funny, right? In Scotland, we call a redneck embarrassing. Like I'll say, Liam, well, it's usually Liam saying it to me, Mum, that's a redneck, which means you're embarrassed. So Mystical will say in the chat sometimes, like, Lee's going to build a redneck dog hut. And I'm thinking, why are
Yeah.
you being embarrassed about it?
Yeah, saying we use
It's
it
just a different
differently
word.
here. Yeah, it
Yeah,
just means that
it's
it's
plain.
it's yeah, it's plain, it's simple. I've always told Lee he's my redneck. I'm always telling Lee, "Oh my God, I married a redneck." That's what I always tell him. "Oh God, I married a redneck." So because the things that he does, it's like when I first started riding I'll change the subject here just a minute. When I first started riding my motorcycle, my feet wouldn't hardly touch. I was like on my toes. So he went to the store, to Walmart. He bought 2 deals of flip flops,
Yeah,
sandals where the bottom has that real rubbery sole.
yeah.
He glued he cut the tops off. He glued 2 of them to the bottom of my boots so that they were this high. And then he showed them to me, and I said, "Honey, I'm too embarrassed to wear those. They're like red
imagine
neck.
you'd have been
And then
bouncing while you
he
were walking with all the rubber. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
well,
my
and
dear.
let me tell you, so I put them on, I sat on my motorcycle, and my feet was perfect. But I said, I'm really embarrassed to wear them. So what I did was, because I had saddlebags on my motorcycle, so I would put my normal boots in my saddlebags. I would put those redneck boots he made me on the motorcycle, and then when I would get to where I was going, I would take them off real quick and
Change.
take my other ones out of the saddlebag and put those in it.
Oh,
And then it worked so good that I would come home and people, or they would see me somewhere and they were looking at my shoes, and I'm like, I'm married to a redneck. I'm married to a redneck.
he's a good problem solver.
Yeah. That was like, oh my God, it was just so, I was like, honey, that's so embarrassing.
that's
He's
interesting,
like,
Colin.
but it'll
Purple
keep you from
potatoes.
falling
Never heard
over.
of purple potatoes.
He's got
Seriously, we
character.
have dandelion. The dogs haven't peed on or council haven't sprayed. Then get digging. It's an amazing
Right.
plant ally. Oh yeah, the dandelion leaves,
Dandelions.
the flowers, the
Yeah, I've got loads
roots.
down around
They're
here.
they're medicinal. You can make tinctures out of
Nettle
them.
as well. Nettle's
Yeah,
one of the
and
most.
that's why, like the dandelion, I don't. All our whole yard gets filled with dandelions. I don't pick any of them because of the strays around here, the stray cats.
Right. Yeah.
So I like if we go out somewhere and there's like a big open field and I see
Right.
dandelions, those are the ones that you want to
They
pick
want to go
because
pack.
they've not sprayed, because they're way out in the middle of
The
nowhere.
dogs have not peed
You
on them.
know, yeah, exactly. That's exactly
As Colleen said,
right.
I grew purple potatoes last. I personally enjoy the purple potatoes because not only taste like other potatoes, the only difference is the purple ones aren't as starchy. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah,
that, Colleen?
and it's
Sounds
because in
interesting.
some potatoes you wanna peel them because the outside is so rough, and other ones you can eat the peelings because the peelings are so nutritious and have so much vitamins and
Yeah.
stuff like that in them. So
I remember that
it makes a
program, Cherry.
difference.
Bodger and
Yes,
Badger.
they are.
I remember that.
Bodger and Badger.
Bodger and Badger.
Me and my son are like that. Make everything out of anything.
Look,
LOL. Yeah. I call like an old TV program that used to be on. I've never heard of that program, but
it's a British
yeah.
thing.
Guy and a badger, and they used to be really silly, but they used to just like bodge stuff together with this. Yeah. And he
Oh,
loved
build
his mashed
anything.
potato, and he used to always splat him with the mashed potato and that.
Yeah, I had never heard of it, but it sounds
Yeah.
like it would be fun to watch. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's so many things that you can, do with, with the garden and growing stuff, but it's hard for me last year to keep up with what I wanted to do because I was
Yeah.
spending so much time trying to pull those plants
I
and see those
know.
weeds I plant. Okay, but see, a lot of stuff that I call weeds or we call weeds are good for the chickens because
Right.
now I do know that there's certain mushrooms, little mushrooms that grow out in that field. I will have to keep an eye because I am not a mushroom
Yeah,
expert.
I stay away from them
So
as well. Mhm.
there are certain mushrooms that can kill your chickens, much less make them really sick. So I'll have to
Right.
keep an eye on that, and I kind of know the area where they start growing and make sure that I go out there and dig all of those
Pick all
up.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
get rid of them.
the heirloom black cream tomatoes are less acidic as red tomatoes.
Right, and so the yellow ones are too. The heirloom.
Yeah, Kerry, that's
The,
right. They're just in love plants.
yeah, here the heirloom seeds are the best ones to get because those are supposed to be organic. They're supposed to be
Right.
where they'll grow back because so many seeds you buy these days, they don't produce the
Hi,
seeds to where you
Stephen.
can save them and then they come back. Hey, Stephen, and then where they come back again. But the heirlooms will. But the
See, I
yellow
think I want to grow
tomatoes.
potatoes. Hopefully, I can grow some potatoes, but I'll get big big tubs for them outside. I want to grow maybe tomatoes, so I'll probably do that in here. But I also want to grow a couple of herbs like maybe rosemary, thyme. I don't know what else. Probably
Parsley,
parsley,
oregano, all
Jasmine.
oregano.
of those.
Yeah,
All
I've
those
Jasmine.
got
you can make tinctures and all kinds of stuff out of, out of
yeah.
those.
I'm not going to go too crazy with trying to do too many things because I've got so
Yeah.
much going on anyway, especially with the woodland walks coming up and things. So that's the main ones I'm going to concentrate on trying to grow. So I think most of them will be inside anyway, except for the potatoes. So what do you think? You'll all grow this year, Mystical. What are you thinking? And you too, Sherry. What do you think, ladies? What you's going to grow?
Yeah, well, see, Sherry's just getting into it too, and you were mentioning it earlier, Sherry. What do you think that you might want to grow this year?
Well, I
What you
know
say?
that I know she's doing like potatoes and like sweet peas and stuff like that. But then
Yeah.
she's doing like heathers, some jasmine, some sages.
Right.
Um,
That'll be good.
there's these beautiful little ones that she's getting me as well. They're like little miniature pumpkins, but they look like silk, and they're called Chinese lanterns. There's these little red little pumpkin
Right.
like thing. They're
Okay.
beautiful and they've got all these seeds in it. So she's doing
Oh,
me
that'll
quite a
be
few
nice
things.
to
She's not
see
told
them
me everything
grow.
she's doing. She's told me it's a surprise. So
That'll be
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah, and see, like she said, Carrie says too. They're just unloved plants. Talking about weeds.
Weeds.
Yeah, a lot of
well, they
Yeah.
things we
are.
call weeds are good for you. We call them weeds because at the moment they're being a nuisance to us.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
last year
Yeah.
they were a big nuisance to me, but I ain't gonna have that problem this year because the chickens are gonna do the job for me, and
Well, that's
keep
your
all
work
that
cut in half.
scratched, yeah, scratched around, and then that way I can
Yeah,
concentrate
Cherry.
on more
That's what my
stuff.
godmum said to me. She go, my witchy godmum. She said you could use them on your altar at like on Halloween and have them as a because they're
Hmm.
dried. They're not like
Yeah.
they're dried. You'd have to. They're really delicate and they
Right.
look like satin. They're like they look like
Evening,
lace.
Right.
Stephen. Hmm.
They're
Yep.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you do like in your area, there some things that they say perennials are not perennials in certain zones because if you're too cold, they're not gonna, come back. The zone
Right.
that we're in here, I think I'm in zone either 6 or 7. I tend to forget because of some of the difference in the plants, but I'm only gonna do those for the exception of maybe the sweet potatoes, the zucchini. But I don't think I'm going to do so much like the green beans and peas, all that stuff that I did last year.
Yeah, because last year was a learning curve for you, really, and you learned a
Exactly.
lot, though, Mystical. You really did really learn a lot last year.
Yeah. Plus
Oh yeah.
all of my natural fertilizers, all of
Yeah.
that. So anybody watching this, if you want to know how to make the natural fertilizers, that you don't go to the store and buy fertilizers and no telling what is in it that you're going to end up eating because it's going to be in the plants. I've got several
We'll
videos
start
on my
pushing out the
channel.
playlist.
Yes, so you can go outside and make, what is out there and gather and make your own
Yeah.
fertilizers. Because if I'm going to be eating it, I want it to be healthy. I don't want anything that's got pesticide stuff in it or, any
So
of that.
there's a question for you then, right? Out of everything that you did last year, a, give it a percentage of how successful you felt it all went.
Actually, I think I done an excellent job
Good
because
job.
before that, I could have killed everything. But since I called it my magical garden and I put my heart into it, and I did everything that I wanted to do to make it healthy, to
I
save
think
it, to
anything failed.
preserve it, to dry
Yeah.
it, to dry it out. I think it was a huge success and I
Yeah.
No,
learned a
yeah.
whole lot. Yeah.
Everything, there was nothing really failed. At the end up, you left your sunflowers a little too long, and drying out. But that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Everything was
I
successful.
those baggies, I ended up like with 3 or 4 baggies of the quart size and
seeds.
one of the gallon size full. But this
Right.
year too, what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna grow them. I'm gonna grow them inside the chicken
Right.
area, inside the
Yeah.
chicken run. And then what I'm going to do is I'm only going to save a few of them for us to replant. The rest of them, once they get really big, you cut the
Yeah.
heads off and you just throw them to the whole head, just throw it to the chickens, and they
Right.
have a blast picking through them and eating,
Right. They
you
love
know, the
that.
seeds and
Yeah.
everything. That's really good for them.
I
Yeah.
turned an old wheelie bin into a
Yeah.
compost bin, which is good if you have the room. Oh, wow.
That's a great idea, Karen. I'll need to do things like that to get my.
Yeah.
Mine'll be a redneck garden.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And if you
yeah,
watch
I
my
think everything you did
videos,
last
yeah.
year worked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
I'm
my
trying to think of it.
compost. Remember
Yeah,
the trash can compost and then the bin compost?
yeah,
Okay, those are still out there, so those are going to be used again this year. That will be mixed in with the manure fertilizer from last
right,
year because that will
right.
already be seasoned and ready to use, and all of that will be mixed up and then
Mm-hmm.
be added into the plants that I'm going to be planting. So that was a big
People
success
keep
there.
stealing my
Get
wheelie
out
bin,
and think
Karen.
one on bin day. Ha ha.
People keep stealing mine. We've got a black one for our like waste, and then we've got grey ones for our tins, and we've got blue ones for our cardboard. And my
Hmm.
blue one went missing months and months ago, and my grey one's missing now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and this is what also I'm going to do in the chicken deal, is like Lee has a whole bunch of wooden stumps. Some are big, some
Right.
are little, you know, different sizes. So what you
Yeah.
do is inside the chicken pen, you not only like make like rows of them, you know,
Right.
around because well first of all the chickens like to get up on top of them, you know, just not really roosting but they like to get up on top of stuff, but you
Right.
leave them there for like a couple of months at a time, and then after that then you just roll them and just kind of move them to a different spot, all of them, and the
Right.
chickens will come running because the worms and all of that's going to be
All
underneath
right.
there. Yeah, and so you move them and then they run and they eat them, and that's
Right.
protein. You know, that's
That'll be good
protein
for them.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what I was
So
gonna
that's the new
say,
project this year, guys, is the chickens. So we'll need to keep an eye on that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no, we
then
only have two bins here. A
Do
black
you?
and a
Yeah. You've
green.
got
Green
three.
for all of the
Oh,
recycling and black for all your waste. And then you've got a little tiny little
exactly.
poxy brown one to put all of your food that you don't eat.
All right.
yeah,
Goodness. Well, we've got red ones as well for garden waste, but we've not got a
Yeah, that's
garden.
what, yeah.
Well, we've got a
yeah,
garden, guys, but we've not got any grass or anything that gets put in
yeah.
it.
And see, if you live in an area, say if you have chickens for a garden, you know, or if you don't have chickens, and remember last year, all of my scraps from like all of the fruits and veggies and stuff, remember the little containers I put inside the middle of
Yeah.
each plant with the little lid, and then I would put all those scraps in there because
Yeah.
it rots away and it feeds, you know, the
The
plant
soil.
roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you live in a place that you're close to a store that like a restaurant, you can always go ask them, hey, can you save me some of those scraps and I'll be here before closing time and take them away.
Oh yeah,
You
just to put
know,
in.
you can always, Sherry, you look like you were going to say something.
I was going to say that I think that my garden seems quite poisonous. I'm not being funny or nothing, but like the other that other year when I went outside, I found like two, like, because obviously over around here, like you got your rats in you and they run around and whatever.
Mm.
Well, whatever it was, they ate something in my garden, and when I come down, there was like two dead rats, and I was having a fit. I literally got this shovel and flung it, and it went over my neighbour's thing. I just ran inside and pretend I didn't know.
It probably wasn't something that was growing in your garden, sis. They probably ate some poison that the council.
Well, its eyes were open, and there was part of my plant was hanging out of its mouth. So I was like, "What the hell?" I literally got the shovel to try and move it, and it flinged it over my neighbour's fence. I was like, "Oh my god, quick, go inside!"
Yeah, so you went inside and hid? Were you peeking out?
Yeah, because I weren't meant to. You know, like when you're trying to pick, because it was on, like, because my garden's mad when it grows, right? It grows, but these, like, the stinger nettles, everything will come out with like that thick. They're huge, right?
Yeah.
This rat must have bit a bit of it, and it killed it from the sting or whatever it is. So I'm trying to get it up off of this broken down stinger nettle that I broke down to use the nettles.
Yeah.
And I think I overjudged what I was doing, and the fucking rat just flew up over my head and into my next door neighbour's garden. So it's just like,
oh my god! I'm surprised they didn't come knocking on your door.
My neighbours very rarely sit like, it was the other side. My neighbours very rarely in the front room, so they wouldn't have seen it anyway. But it just flicked over, and I was like, "Oh my god, quick, run in!" I did wait to see if I got somebody knock at the door, but they didn't, because they're so used to rats running about. He probably thought that it died in his garden, so I didn't say anything. I just left it there. So he's got a massive fence. It just went over his fence. It was just gone.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
Lord!
Things you do.
Because I was having a fit, because I don't like anything like that. I don't like critters.
Oh,
and it was on my garden, and there's Dash, and I needed to let Dash out for a week. So I tried to.
Yeah.
What I was going to do is pick up the shovel and bury it, but where I flicked it, it just flew over my neck. So I just ran inside. I was like, "Yeah, right."
Oh, Sherry, you got Colleen hungry. Well, thank you for coming in, and maybe if we're still alive, maybe if we're still live when you get finished, you can come back. But
come
enjoy eating your meal.
Okay, my sis, love you.
Thank you for coming in.
Love ya. Hey, Kimmy.
Yeah.
I know you were laughing. I did feel bad, guys. I did feel bad because it did flick, and I heard it fall, and I felt so bad. But
when we stayed at Wood Park, it was nice. We kept getting in the house. Up here, it's hedgehogs. It's outside, but down at Wood Park, it was nice. It kept getting in, but that's because of all the long grass and things.
Yeah,
I don't
mind
the
hedgehogs this year, guys. Are you looking forward to it? I think because last year I wanted to do it, and I just didn't get the time. And I think because this year, a lot of the stuff I'm doing is based around like plants and herbs and things. I'm looking forward to really getting my hands dirty, let's say.
But think about how so many,
so
many of those herbs you dry out, and you use them for your magical workings, and all of that. That saves you so much money from having to, go
but
out.
Say like you ain't got one of those machines, sis, that you've got where it dries it out. How other ways can we dry out our stuff? So just so we know.
I'm going to get one.
I haven't got one of them. Like, could I put it in my oven?
A dehydrator, you can do them in your oven, or you can just get you like some cloth, like 100% like material where it's breathable. You can get you a basket, put them in there, and then just like shake it, rotate it like every couple of hours. It may take a few days that way, to dry, but that worked. That's how everybody used to do it before they started making, dehydrated.
Or hanging it as well. Somebody said about hanging it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you can.
When I was doing banana skins, I just put them on the windowsill.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
In the oven, you got to remember, leave the oven door open. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my mum's friend come round one day and see some banana skins hanging off my radiator. She goes, "Sherry, have you realised you're in for new bananas?" I said, "Don't you dare touch them. They're for my magical practices. Leave them. They're drying out."
I've got them up in the corner, and Wally, I think it was actually Liam. He's like, "Mum, what do you get banana skins for?" And I says, "Leave them. This is the first something." He's like, "You're weird."
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
olden days, that's what they would have done, and it's no different for us. You know what I mean? Like, but she's just coming up, Sherry.
It's
Why
like
have you
they're
got
different
banana
repellent
skins hanging
spirits.
off of the radiator? Do you not know where your bin is? I was like, no, they're for my magical practice. Do not touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bananas
But,
are
You know,
very
you
these spirits.
yeah, you can hang corn, you can hang green beans, you know, because my grandma, I remember when
even
she used to have us stringing
even
all
my
the
tea
green
bags,
beans and hanging them
even my
up.
like
Yeah.
used tea bag leaves, I ripped the bag open and put them in a bowl and let them all dry out because they're still
Dry
good
out.
for certain things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Yeah,
So
that's exactly right. So when you said hanging, that's a yeah. I have up here a whole bunch of corn that's still
Yeah.
Indian
yeah,
corn that's hanging up there. So there's I mean that's the way they used to do it in the olden days, you know,
Yeah,
that they used
definitely.
that they would dry them. But it saves a lot of money, you know. And then too, like last year when I got down to the nitty gritty, like you know, I was drying them and then you know jarring them, you know, the herbs and stuff for future use for cooking
hmm
and medicinal, you know, stuff and tinctures and you know all of that. But when you have the jars full and then you start getting toward the end of the garden and you know you're not going to have enough to jar, then what you do is you powder, you know, all the ones that you're going to be eating later, you powder them, then you jar all of those together. And no matter what you make, whether you make spaghetti, you make lasagna, whatever, if you make eggs in the morning, then you just open up that jar, get a little pinch, and sprinkle it in your food. And then
yeah.
that way you've got the nutritional value from all of those that's been combined. And, you know, and then you just use them that way. I ended up with
Her
2 jars
bunches
like
look so
that.
pretty hanging up. Her bunches do. And that's what I'm getting like, because I've seen
Hmm.
these things online where they've got like these little wooden slacks with like the hooks for you to hang the plants. I'm going to buy a couple of them and hang them on my wall. And when like my herbs and stuff my godmum's planted me is got big enough, I'll hang them on it.
Hmm.
Just let them do their thing, you know what I
I'm
mean?
going to use
Yeah.
Terry's driftwood in like a kind of collage type of thing, like on the wall. I'll get a bit
Yeah,
of wood somewhere and I'll just put them up. Well, because I've got the box under there with different things in it that I want to use, and then all the other stuff's
Hmm.
up there. I think it'll be
Hmm.
nice, and it'll feel like a gift straight from Kerry and straight from Wales.
Yeah. Did you see what Phoenix put? She says, I still
And
use the dry naturally depending on the herb. Your drying will take 1 to 2 weeks to dry. And oven, heat it up for 170 degrees, turn it off, place herbs on tray and place in the oven. The main thing is to keep rotating them. That way they
right,
dry evenly. That's the main
oh
thing.
right. So set the oven to 170 degrees. Leave it on for what, an hour. Turn it off, and then just put your herbs in there.
yeah, and let
That's
them
what you're
dry
saying then.
naturally. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep mixing to dry. Yeah,
So I've
because and
seen a lot of there's a lot of like, especially down in Tesco, there's like these it's like packs that you get and you can like grow different herbs in them. But I think the ones that they've got are seeds. So I think are you better to buy like I'm talking about like for flowers and things, are you better buying seeds or are you better buying them when they've started to grow?
that's strictly up to you. Last year I did all seeds.
Right.
This year the boxes that I was telling you that I'm going to do for the chickens, I'm going to
Yeah.
use seeds for those to
Right,
grow because
okay.
then it gives them time and they're up waiting and watching and every day they're getting up on the screen waiting to see what they can pick that grows through. The
Right.
other stuff, even though I still have a lot of seeds, I'm going to try to get the smaller individual plants so that I can plant those directly in since I already have all my soil with
Yeah, okay.
with the
Yeah, I'm good.
compost and all of that. So I'm gonna try that and see how that
No, no,
does
no, no.
this year.
I didn't say
Yeah.
about leaving the oven on. I said so. Put it to the temperature of
Turn it off.
170. Put it on for an hour. Then turn the oven off. Then put the plants in it.
Yeah,
Is what
she
I said. I
said
didn't
turn
say I
it
was
off.
going to leave the oven on. while
I
I'm
think
doing
that's
it.
what I'm going to do with some of them. Some of them I'll get the seeds, probably the herbs. I'll get seeds for,
Yeah.
and then maybe some of the flowers that I'm going to try and grow, like my sunflowers. I'm going to try and do a couple of sunflowers. I'll maybe try and get them as already starting
Yeah.
to grow. You
I
know,
want to do
because
some
I
sunflowers. I want
yeah,
to do some carnations.
yeah,
I'd like to do
yeah.
some poppies. I'd love to do some wild poppies, grow some wild poppies in a pot.
We'll
Like
see what we
things like
can
that.
get.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely start
Yeah.
looking. I know Tesco and things has got the baskets and things like that already sitting outside, but I still feel it's a little bit soon because I always go with that cherry blossom tree and it's not even got a bud on it yet. So I think we're
Yeah.
still in for some cold.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
stores here already selling the plants and everything. And that's fine if you have a place inside to keep
Yeah.
them until, you're ready to put them out. I don't. So,
No, I'm not doing it either. I
I
don't
mean, I
like that.
can't,
I don't want to waste money.
I ain't
I
got no
can't
room
even,
in my house to do that.
venture to do that right
Yes,
now. I don't even have an available table because my kitchen table is my area that I use for shipping, with all of my shipping stuff that I have to ship out every day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, me and Lee, we get a plate to eat and we sit on the couch and watch TV and eat right there on the couch.
I think your house is one big Etsy shop and Macari shop and things because you do so good. You sell so many things. You would need to
Oh,
open
we
up a
were breaking
store.
up there for a minute. Me and Sherry broke up, and then you broke up, Drew. So if
All
you want to
right.
say that again, because all we heard was
I said
say it all again.
your full house is a Macari Etsy shop because you've got that many stuff that you need it. You would need a warehouse for all your stuff if you didn't. Did you hear me there?
Oh, okay.
No, you don't.
Or was it breaking up?
Okay, I think that's for you, Sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
15
we're
minutes. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, good,
I
Kerry. I'll have a look.
apologize.
I think the storm's coming over our heads next, so it's been quite stormy
Yeah.
here, and I think everybody's
It's pouring.
experiencing a bit of a stormy.
I'll
Yeah,
check.
so I apologize if we're breaking up, everybody. We've got a storm coming in, and so that might be what is going on right now. That's why we had to hurry up and try to put everything away and get back
But
in.
Drew was saying that Sister Mystical's house is like her Etsy shop because her whole house is just like all of her stuff that she sells.
She's got so much.
Yeah.
She could
Yeah,
open her
exactly.
house as a shop and just
So-
let people come to the house, to be quite honest, because she's got so much of it.
Well,
You're having a field day walking around looking at all
Your
the
house.
jars trying to find it.
Come and pick what you need.
Well, since I don't let anybody in my house, me and Lee was saying that this coming summer we might load a lot of the stuff up and go to the flea markets ourselves and sell a lot of it
I'm
at
sure
the
you
flea
would sell a
markets.
lot of it. Yeah.
Kerry,
Yeah.
did you mean WhatsApp and not Insta?
I
can't
was only
find you on
joking when I said
Instagram.
about Sister Mystical opening her house to people. She don't like people coming in her house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like people in my house. Sorry.
She'd be
You're
there
my
with
friend.
like with like a one of the sticks waiting for the wrong thing they touch. Wait, not that thing. Let me tell you about that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, better to
I
go to the
told-
flea market.
I told Lee that I was going to hang a lot of chicken feed around the house, and he's like, why are you going to do that? And I said, for protection. And he's like, what do you mean protection? I said, chicken's feet are for protection. All you have to do is put chicken's feet up around your house. I guarantee you, if somebody is going house to house breaking in, when they get to your house and they see those chicken feet hanging outside, they're going to skip your house and they're going to go next door. They are not going to want to come in your house. So that is protection.
Yeah, they'll be like, yep, let's just quickly skip past that one.
Yeah.
Why
But
do you
it won't
think
be
all
for my
these witches
chickens. I'm
that
not
hang
getting my
weird
chickens'
things
feet.
from their houses so they don't get disturbed?
The thing is, we try and let people think that we're not weird, and then they come into our house and we'll have things hanging here and pouches hanging there, and
Well,
people are like, "What does
You
that?"
knock at my door and it looks normal. You knock at my door, it looks normal. And I'm telling you, the workman that come to do my ceiling the other week was like, it was so funny. He knocks at the door. It looks
Yeah.
all normal. Obviously, I'm not normal. So when I opened the door, I had all my witchy stuff on, and he like looked at me, and he walks in. I'm telling you, his face when he went into my front room, he was like, because it's just like all shaman bits on one side, witch bits on the other, and he was looking around. He seen my altars, and he was like, kitchen's that
Yeah, the
way.
council give you funny looks.
Yeah.
But I don't think they know what to think half the time. But then when he started talking to me, he was like, "You're actually really interesting." I said, "We're not as bad as what people make us out to be." You know what I mean? He goes, "It was just a bit
Yeah.
scary seeing your altars sitting there with all your bits on it." I was like, "It's just that it's no different to you being a Christian and being in the church, and I'd do it at home. What's the difference?"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know?
That's exactly right. Well, we're breaking up a whole lot, guys. So I think we'll go ahead and end it here.
I
And
think we're at another anyway.
we'll be
Yeah,
back
we are.
next Tuesday with the
We are
other
now.
Drew, the Mr. Drew. We've got the Mrs. Drew here. This is the Mr. Drew.
Yep.
So yeah, we're
I'll
breaking
organise
up
it with
like
them.
a really bad. Yeah. So she says hers is like a thrifty garden scent. Yeah, that'll be cute. Cause I'll have to look at that too, that picture. Okay, so if it's okay with y'all, we'll go ahead and end it here since we're all
Love you
breaking
all.
up.
Thank you,
Have a good
guys.
evening, guys. And if you're having a storm, be safe and make sure you keep
Yeah,
yourself safe.
watch what you're doing, guys, okay? Buckle down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
It's gonna rain. It's gonna start. It's rain. It was probably already started. It's gonna rain all night, all tomorrow. Thursday we're supposed to have a pretty day, so we'll probably be out there again.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll try to upload that other video.
Oh, Hatchie, hi, buddy. We're just going.
Yeah, we're just fixing to
We're
leave.
just
Thank
going,
you for
brother.
coming in.
Rewatch.
Okay, so yeah, rewatch. Okay, so everybody, we're gonna end this here. Good night. Thank you everybody for coming in.
Merry
Please share.
party.
Please share.
Blessings.
And bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Let's see.